What's up, everybody? It's Alex from Heavy New York. We are back at the Gramercy Theater. This is a very special interview for me because this was the first band I ever saw live at my first concert. We are here with Suicide Silence. Thank you so much, Chris, for being here.
Man? Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So now that it's been about a year and a half since the release of your self-titled record, do you have like a conclusion on this overall record cycle?
Not really, no. we're just we keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, that's just since day one, since the band started, we just kind of, all right, well, guess what? That was that, and we're done. We keep going.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
Or for better or for worse, for us is all the same.
Yeah.
So
Oh, so you kind of like every record at this point in your career, you kind of like know what to expect and everything, right?
kinda, yeah. I mean, again, like for if things go bad or go good, it's just to me, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
So.
Now, this was like really one of the first records, aside from your very early demos back in the day, that had
Yeah.
like clean singing on it, and I
Yeah.
thought it was awesome because, from listening to You Only Live Once and all the earlier stuff back in the day, to hear
Yeah.
a song like Conformity and Doris and Silence were very unique. Was that a preconceived idea going into the studio when making the self-titled record, or did the
Absolutely.
music... Really?
Absolutely. I mean, every record we kind of like, we want to not evolve, but like take risk and chances.
Yep.
And after the Black Crown, we were going to like take like some fucking like, basically what we did on the last record after the Black Crown, but of course what happened with Mitch, I mean, that put things to a halt. So things were already going to happen. But you can't stop me. There's no room to do anything because we were barely able to just be a band again. So to go on with Eddie and without Mitch and just go on in general and like experiment was just impossible. Let's see if we could be a band first. Then once we accomplish that, it's like, okay, now let's see what we fucking really do. And basically it was like, what if we died? What would be our last record? I mean, what would we do? What do we want to try? And just about learning. Bands are afraid to fucking learn and fail because that's how you learn.
Absolutely.
But I'm very thankful and blessed to be with a real band.
Yeah.
We're all in this, and we love music and we love our fans, and we want to give them something fresh. And we know that they're in it for the long haul as we are. So it takes throughout my career and demos, all that stuff, like I learned that in order to get to a certain sound or record, sometimes it takes like a couple records to get to the record that you're trying to do.
Absolutely.
So I had that in mind. Like
You got to break eggs to make an omelet.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I don't care. I didn't care about record sales or like all that bullshit that like everyone else is like obsessing about. Like it's like, what's this going to do for us, like, in 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 30 years from now? Like, what's our 8 record going to sound like if we try this one on our 5th? It's always that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And, as you explore different elements, I'd imagine, by experimenting with clean singing and an acoustic song and all this,
Yeah.
you definitely have opened up a lot more doors to experiment even further, right?
Oh, yeah. First and foremost, we were in a room with Ross Robinson. Just that alone is already like a mind fuck. It's so hard. It's still hard being around him because I truly, with my heart and my soul, I love him. Because he's done so much for me, and so we had the preconceived idea. Okay, we're gonna like really try everything, and Ross was willing to help us explore everything. But the thing about that is, we experimented with everything possible, with every song, every part, every drum part, the logo, the video, the way we toured. We experimented with so much, it was humanly impossible to focus on anything. So to get like a sound or like a heavy tone was like impossible because we were experimenting so much.
Yeah.
But we were willing and not afraid to do that.
Absolutely.
So.
And there was such a vibe with it. Like, when you got into the intro to Conformity, like those first 2 words, disembodied whispers, that like could honestly give somebody chills. And it really, like, I thought not only did it allow you to experiment with yourself, but like you could, now people who may have not have checked you out before on the previous records might even give you a chance, right? Like, you could probably do a tour with many different bands now because of this, right?
Yeah, it's funny. We got paid in everything but financial currency. We got paid in so much more. Like we didn't get paid in petty bullshit like record sales and money. We got paid in so much fucking more, dude. Like things that I can't say here yet, but like things have happened that are huge for our band that haven't happened in our scene that was because of that record. They're like, oh, we heard this, so you want to be in this movie. I mean, it's just like crazy shit like that just wouldn't have happened if we didn't do that.
Yeah.
So we got paid in everything but money, and like so now it's like super stoked.
Yeah.
So fucking thankful, dude.
Awesome. And now, one thing I was curious about is talking about the new stuff, but I know that your previous tour, which you stopped by here in New York, you played The Cleansing in its entirety.
Yeah.
Playing one of those older albums in its entirety, did you look back and see, oh my God, we evolved so much, like from playing your older material, or was it like a nostalgic thing that kind of made you miss the old days a little bit?
I don't know. At first, when a 10-year comes, bands start talking about it, and at first, I didn't want to do it because I didn't want to do like a cash grab. I was like, so we talk about it, I'm like, nah, I don't want to do it. Then, but we're like a real band, so when we practice, we're in a room and we jam. So this one of our jams, we're like, Alex was playing like an old song, like Fallen, and I was like, oh shit, okay. Then he played like Price of Beauty, and like like the fucking like hits. And I was like, damn, like I would love to play this. Truly, if it was right, then the idea started. Well, let's just do it, and it was fun. It was just pure fun.
Yeah, and being that Eddie was singing on it, was there all like a different vibe playing the older material now versus when you were playing it with Mitch?
Honestly, I kind of approached the show the same. Like when we were playing shows with Mitch, like I kind of didn't know he was there because I was in my own world, as I know he was in his own world. So I kind of approached it the same way. I didn't really know Eddie was there. Because I'm in my own, like I'm not even there. So I kind of approached it the same. I'm just not really. I don't know.
So you're in your own world live on stage. How different is the world when you're like making music in the studio?
Oh man, it's a lot harder. Writing music is by far like it's a fucking mystery, still a mystery, and the thing is like, cause songwriting, I believe personally that the hardest thing to do in music is write songs. It's songwriting and writing that simple riff. Anyone can shred, anybody. Like you can practice all day with your guitar and fucking, but write that simple riff that comes truly from a real place is what I found from my 18 years of playing. Still the hardest thing to do because you can't force it. Yeah. You can't, and when it's forced, like we all know, and like it doesn't work in songs. But man, when it hits, it's crazy. So it's fucking hard because you gotta just let go, because your brain. And I know this is so serious because I struggle with it like every jam we have, like because we start a lot. We'll go to a room, we just start playing like Deftones or like, oh no, it's like this. We start jamming songs, and then we start freestyling, and then I'm like, every time, literally, I'm like, your brain wants to tell you what to do. Like, so I'm like, my hands are doing one thing. I'm like, all right, let's see where this goes, and then your brain is constantly saying, no, stop doing that, try this, and it's just, I'm like, man, like, if I'm conscious of it, and I struggle with it, like, I can only imagine how other bands do. Because the mind is not where the song comes from. It comes from your heart. Since day one, it's always been that way. So it's fucking hard. It's fucking hard.
Well, yeah, songwriting is like a completely separate talent from, you could play guitar all day, shred. You could, play the solo front to back. But in the end, songwriting is like a completely separate talent.
It's a separate thing. I mean, I'm not bagging on anything outside of songwriting because everyone can't pick your own style that speaks to you, and I back that. But people put songwriting and guitar playing and technical playing on like the same box. I'm like, no, dude, that's like a completely different thing. Because I'm the worst guitar player of every tour that we do. I suck, and everyone knows more.
You got to give yourself a little more credit.
Oh, dude, I suck, and I'm proud to say it. I never claim to be like a good player, but I'm the best at what I do. And no one could fuck with me. Nobody. Because I know I know what I do to do what I do. You know, it's more of like I think about playing more than I actually do it, because it's so hard, and it's hard because you have to keep yourself at like as far as my style, you got to keep yourself at like a minimalist level. And I notice that if I practice too much on like theory, I lose emotion.
Yep.
And I'm like, whoa, it blows my mind every time. I'm like, all right, so it's like this weird balance that I struggle with, because it's hard to like, I have to stay away from theory completely, because then I can't get the emotion out. So I have to kind of suck. I either stay at like the suck level, because that's where the riffs come from. Yeah. Where it's like, that's where like that like stupid riff, like I'm just jamming, like boom, it hits.
Yeah.
And that won't come if like, you know, I was like really good.
It seems like if you overanalyze everything too much or
worst.
focus on it too much, you just end up like destroying it. It's like overcooking a steak almost.
Yeah, totally. Like it has to be just right.
Exactly.
And if it's not just right, then it won't translate. And if I don't have the emotion, then therefore when we write the song, the emotion won't be in the song. When we go in the studio, the emotion won't be in like in the song. When we go buy the CD, then they won't feel off it. So like I really have that in my brain when writing songs. Like the emotion has to be there, and at least again with our style and with what speaks to me in my playing is like, you know, sucking. Like it has to be a part of my style. It has to be.
Yep.
You know, technical playing and songwriting are two completely different things, and not one side is better than the other. But people think that if you're good,
yeah, if you're good on a technical level,
then
please be in our band or whatever.
Then you could write a song and write a simple riff. That's not the fucking case.
Yeah.
That's not. You know.
You know, a fun fact is kind of maybe a bit of a different scenario, but like Cannibal Corpse, like for those of you who don't know, Corpse Grinder doesn't write any of those lyrics. Like he plays maybe a role in the songwriting, but like, and the same thing with Slayer. I think Kerry King writes a lot of those concepts, despite Tom singing it. So
of course, yeah.
And
sure.
Now
I love Cannibal. They're sick, dude.
Can't go wrong with Cannibal Corpse.
Those guys are fucking cool. Alex Webster and dude, Paul, their drummer, like he's the most unique Death Metal drummer. And
he's so nice too.
They're all fucking badass. And Pat O'Brien, like I try to match my tone with like his, because I love his like super crazy chunk, dude. I love those guys.
Yeah,
they're awesome.
Now, one thing I was always curious about with Suicide Silence, because as we mentioned, we talked about like the style of playing, but in terms of concept, you know, Suicide Silence, despite being a very heavy band, you know, there's moments of optimism. I feel like a song like "You Only Live Once" or "You Can't Stop Me." That was definitely, you know, to hear those words, "You can't stop me," after everything that happened was a very beautiful thing for me. But then, you know, you have like an eerie song like "And Then She Bled," and then, you know, you have more, just for lack of better words, more depressing tones like Conformity.
Of course.
Do you think, does Eddie like maybe like think of these concepts and then that kind of determines the music, or do you guys have to like mess around and play music before like a concept behind that songs can be written?
At least as far as now, I think I'm probably gonna change that pretty soon. I've always stayed out of like the like lyrical aspect of things, because I mean I was in the band with Mitch, which basically he was like, dude, he was next level when it came to like lyrics and like concepts and like theories and all that stuff. So, and he never fucked with me. So for years, like over a decade, it's like I was so used to like I do my thing and you do your thing, and we never ever like he trusted me and I completely trusted him, and because we knew like that if we let them be, it's gonna be the best. So I just let Mitch come up with the concepts, and I treat Eddie like the same way. I do my thing, and I let him completely. I mean, what's your feeling when you hear the song? You know.
Okay. And being that you guys are both in your own worlds, is there like a moment though where you take those rules? Because in the end, you guys are tracking over each other and stuff. Yeah. So like, is there like, how do you guys know when to take your two different worlds and kind of bring them together?
We don't. It's all the song. The song tells us where to go. You know, absolutely. Totally. It's total ego check. You know, each record we try to get more simple because it's harder to do that.
Yeah.
So whatever is harder, we tend to do that. It sounds like if you hear like a record, you're like, oh, that sounds really easy, but to come up with that shit, dude, it's fucking hard.
Absolutely.
It's fucking hard. Like, all right, you know, don't goes so crazy with the drums, hero. Don't, lay off like the screaming right there. Like cutting back and giving a song what the song needs. Because, I mean, ultimately, it's not about the band. I mean, it's not about the band at all. It's about the song, because the song makes the band, not the band makes the song. So whatever we can do for the song to give it its full life, that's what we do, and it's hard.
Absolutely. And
ego check.
God, you can't imagine how many people could use that.
Yeah, it's hard, man.
Now, I was actually wondering if we could talk a little bit about gear, because I'm a huge fan of your guitar sound and everything like that.
Tight.
Yeah, so what's your weapon of choice in Suicide Silence?
The foundation of Suicide Silence and myself is Ibanez 7-string guitars and Fender Stratocasters.
Oh, Ibanez 7-string, like Dino Cazares from Fear Factory. Is it the DCM 100?
No, I broke all my shit, so I have one left. I have my LA custom shop.
Yep.
Which is fucking dope. It's basically, what's that? It's that RGD model.
Yes.
So it's basically based off of that. It's like a baritone EMGs, standard shit, RG body, and then the rest of the guitars I have are 6-string Fender Strats.
Okay.
I still tune the drop A. I take off the high E.
Drop A. Drop A sounds normal, but for a Stratocaster, I would have never expected for this.
Sick as fuck.
Really, I never have expected like a Stratocaster to kind of like. I know there's some heavy stuff in there, but I'm thinking like a heavy band playing a Stratocaster. As heavy as like a band like Otherwise maybe, but like
this shit's sick, dude. I love it.
Yeah. And what about for amps?
I've been using the same thing for a long time. Mesa Triple.
Oh wow.
As far as the head, but it's the 90s version, so it's the 2-channel.
Okay.
So anything past like I think it's 2000, they went to 3-channel. I don't fuck with those.
Yeah.
I get my shit. I buy all my stuff used. I buy it all used because it sounds the best.
Yeah.
And I don't like free stuff. I hate free shit.
It's always it's always best to learn how to ride a bike on a used bicycle.
Oh really?
So it's the same thing with
interesting.
So same thing with instruments.
Wow. And depending on my mood, no matter what, they're always straight. But as far as cabs, I go between the Mesa cabs or Marshall cabs. Depending on my mood and like what the vibe of the room.
Really?
I'll switch it up.
Really? That's interesting how you adjust depending on it. Does it affect the sound at all?
I notice it kind of doesn't because the sound is not just me. It's me with Alex playing drums and Dan Kenny and Mark and Eddie screaming. So I notice, but sometimes like I'll hear videos of us playing live.
Yep.
And sometimes you're like, sometimes you feel like, oh man, I'm like way out of tune. Then you see it live, it's perfect, and like it sounds heavy and like, oh sure. Sometimes you feel like it sounds like shit on stage, but you see it live and like, oh, it sounds fine. So I don't know. It just mood, you know.
Well, I want to thank you so much for your time, Chris.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, but so before we go, you mentioned tonight, if I'm allowed to say, you're playing a new song tonight on this tour.
Yeah.
When can we be expecting the new Suicide Silence record?
I don't know. We're kind of just going. Probably next year sometime. Who knows?
Really?
Yeah, I mean, but we're just it's no dates. We're just fucking doing. I mean, people know what we're doing. We're a band. We're always writing.
Yeah.
We're always writing, no matter what.
So, and I'd imagine because after hearing the last record, it made me realize that all bets are off. You know what I mean? Like you.
Oh yeah.
You definitely like spawned so outside the border. So, like I forgot which member was on it, but one episode of the Jasta show, like one of your members said they want to make the heaviest record next or whatever, and then maybe do something different. But I'd imagine that we can't make any predictions, right?
The record's written already.
Really?
Yeah. But we say that shit just to fucking troll. It's a joke. It's funny.
but people could be expecting some good stuff soon.
Well, now it's like what we did with the last record. It's not an experiment. Now it just naturally comes out. So what we were trying to do, now it just naturally comes out. So now we could focus on what we want, don't want. Now we can focus on the sounds, the tones. I mean, all that stuff because we learned. We learned so fucking much, dude. I mean, Ross taught us so much.
That guy has a way of picking your brain.
Dude, totally, dude. Like, just remember being in the room with them. I was like, oh my fucking guys, Ross Robinson right in front of me, and we're writing a song right now. And now that I could like that memory is like gone, and I could like come back to reality now. It's like, okay, now when we play in the room, jam, you know, like our SS sound now naturally comes out in SS fashion. So now we're focused on capturing our sound and keeping our identity. You know, when the last one, like the sound wasn't there and our identity wasn't there because we were just fucking, but now it's like we could focus on shit. So, and it's fun, and we all love it. So I learned that there's some things that happen in our career that like, oh shit. So if we play a riff and like Dan Kinney, our bass player, stands up and he's stoked, he's because I'm picky, he's picky. So if we both agree on something, which never happens, this is the first record where like he's stoked and he loves heavy shit.
Awesome.
He's the fucking brutal death metal guy. Yeah.
Awesome.
So, cool. So he's stoked. I'm stoked. I'm excited. I'm excited for people to hear it, and we're gonna continue doing what we do, just put out records and hang out with our fans because we love our fans and we take this job very seriously, which is why we did the record that we did.
Yeah.
You know, it's like this isn't like a hobby for us, you know, and I know I can only relate to myself. It's like I know when I listen to music, it's like either I'm walking, I'm at the gym, I'm driving, I'm having a bad day, a breakup or a tragic loss, something bad happened in my life, and like you have music for you, and I put on my favorite bands. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. So I relate myself to that, and that's why we did the last record, because it's like I know how much music means to people. You know, I want to be able to make the best music possible, and that unfortunately people don't understand yet, but I think they will like next year or 2 years from now, where it's like let's say like you're having open heart surgery and it's a hobby for the doctor, and he's having surgery on you, then he like walks outside. I don't think anyone would want that.
Yeah.
Exactly. So basically that's how I treat music. I think every band in metal treat their albums that way.
Yeah.
Like, everything's kind of half-assed. They don't take risk. It's all like a fucking contrived. They're a prisoner of like their past. It's like, and they claim that they're in it for the fans, but your music really speaks about who you are, you know. So it's all hobbies for them, and that's why, I mean, I'm not talking shit, I'm talking real. You know, it's like I see it in every tour that we do. I'm like, it's like a hobby for you. It's like the fucking doctor leaving a room, you know. And I'm blessed, you know, have great fans and a great band members that we're really in this.
Yeah.
And we're in this shit to write the best records that we can. So when someone's alone in their car, and they're truly alone, and I know that feeling that when they're in their car and they put on SS, I'm literally in the seat with them, literally, and because we're in this, you know, we're in this, and I'm not like half there, I'm there, you know.
I'll never forget as I mentioned, you guys were the first band I saw live. I'll never forget. I was 15 years old. I was a freshman in high school. Mm-hmm. So this was almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And I remember being horrified. And Bury Your Dead just got off stage before you too. Nice. And I remember like being a little horrified there too. And then I remember like looking you up like a year or two later. I was like, oh my God, now I kind of get it. You know what I mean? And it was really unique. And you know, like, obviously, when the whole tragedy happened, it really made me realize, like, this was the first band I saw live. I lost somebody who kind of made an impact for me. You know what I mean? And
yeah, it was such a huge loss, dude. I mean, we're still dealing with it. It's going to be forever. You know, the fans will always deal with it. We're always going to deal with our families, our friends.
Yeah. Well, Mitch would be definitely proud of you guys for everything you do. So
appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. But thank you so much,
Thanks,
Chris,
Alex,
for your time. Everybody, we are here with Chris of Suicide Silence. Be sure to pick up the self-titled record if you haven't already. New Suicide Silence coming soon. We'll see you next time on Heavy New York.
Later.